Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Mike.
Hey, it's our technology unit for those of you techies out there who like this sort of thing. We're going to be talking about building tunnels.
Yeah, it's more of an engineering article than really a technology article. But of course, you'll use a lot of technology when you're digging tunnels underground.
Wow.
It's actually something that they do a lot here in Taiwan, don't they? Because there's so many mountains. So a lot of the time, if we're trying to travel quickly over some mountains, the fastest way is actually to go under the mountains or through the mountains, we should probably say. And that's where a tunnel comes in. So we're going to be learning about a bit of tunnel history and some modern tunnels as well.
We sure are. Let's get started, guys, by reading through the article first, and then we'll be back to explain some of these terms. Imagine taking a train ride through the countryside. Looking out the window, you see a clear blue sky, fields of green, and plenty of sunlight. Then suddenly, this beautiful view disappears as the train is briefly surrounded by concrete and darkness. Seconds later, the sunlight returns. You've just passed through a tunnel on the way to your destination. Tunnels are passages that are used to go through or under barriers, like hills or mountains. Man-made ones were first built some 3,000 years ago in the Middle East. Persian and Babylonian architects realized that tunnels could be used to transport water more easily. This was a great accomplishment, as it enabled civilizations to build large cities in the middle of the desert. Greeks and Romans later learned tunnel building techniques and improved upon them. At the peak of its power, the Roman Empire used complex tunnels to transport water through mountains and build road tunnels through areas that were otherwise impossible to cross. Nowadays, tunnels are most frequently used for transportation purposes. They allow trains and cars to bypass obstacles, shortening travel times. However, some tunnels are so impressive that they could be considered works of art. Norway's Lærdal Tunnel is the longest road tunnel in the world. It stretches for 24.51 kilometers and takes cars about 20 minutes to travel through. To keep drivers from falling asleep in the darkness, it is lit by colorful lights that imitate daylight. The Drogden Tunnel is also quite amazing. This 16-kilometer tunnel connects Denmark and Sweden. Thanks to clever architecture and engineering, driving into the tunnel seems like entering another dimension. Okay, guys, let's get started. As we said, we're going to be talking about tunnel building, which I don't know a lot about, but I'm always quite impressed, especially, the older tunnels. I think, wow, how did they build this way back then?
Imagine digging a tunnel by hand as they used to do it in the old days. Luckily, they have machines today. That's the technology we're talking about. So yeah, tunnel building is something that's developed over time, but it's basically the same idea. So the article starts sort of by painting a picture, by getting us to imagine things, to sort of think about what it's like. It says you're taking a train through the countryside. I think most of us have done that. Train travel in Taiwan is a popular way to get around. It says, looking out of the window, you see a clear blue sky, fields of green, and lots of or plenty of sunlight. But then something changes. It says, then suddenly this beautiful view disappears as the train is briefly surrounded by concrete and darkness. Wow, okay, so I'm guessing either we're entering the tunnel or something really bad is about to happen. But I think it's more of the tunnel thing. Because concrete, of course, darkness could be something really bad or just it means night has come very quickly, which would be weird. But if there's concrete around us and that's causing the darkness, that probably means we're in a tunnel because concrete is basically sort of like man-made stone. It's made of like sand and aggregate, a bunch of different rocks. I think they put some lime in there. And basically you mix this stuff together. It's kind of a liquid. It's like a thick liquid, and then people making buildings and other things, they pour it into the shape they want, and then it kind of dries, and it becomes as hard as stone. So most of the buildings that we live in, especially the older buildings in Taiwan, are made of concrete. A lot of buildings might also be made of steel or glass. But concrete is very useful because it's very strong, it's fairly cheap, it's easy to work with. And as long as nothing goes wrong, something made of concrete can last for hundreds of years.
For a long, long time.
Yeah.
Well, according to this little scenario or the picture we're painting, seconds later, the sunlight returns.
Oh, good.
That always feels much better. You've just passed through a tunnel on the way to your destination. There are quite a few tunnels, at least in Taipei where I live. I know it changed the length of time it took you to go from Taipei City to Yilan when they came up with that great tunnel.
That's a big one. And if you take the high-speed train leaving Taipei for the first 5 or 10 minutes, you're mostly going through tunnels before you get out to sort of Taipei County or Taoyuan.
It's true. Well, tunnels are passages that are used to go through or under barriers. Things that get in your way can be barriers. If they're working on the road outside, they'll often put up these orange barriers, which kind of give you the impression, oh, I shouldn't go over there. No, you shouldn't. A barrier keeps people out from areas. Maybe there is some danger past that little barrier. You could also call it an obstacle. Something that gets in your way is a barrier. When I first moved to Taiwan, of course, one of the barriers I had to feeling really comfortable here was the fact that I didn't speak any Chinese and I wasn't used to Chinese food either. So once I overcame those barriers and I got more comfortable, I really loved living here. So these are tunnels. We're saying they're passages, ways to get through or under big obstacles or barriers, like hills or mountains. Man-made ones were first built some 3,000 years ago in the Middle East. So we're going to be talking about some history now.
That's right. So let's travel back 3,000 years ago to the first tunnel builders. Who were they? Well, we learn where they came from. Persian and Babylonian architects realized that tunnels could be used to transport water more easily. Yeah, this is 3,000 years ago, folks. And if we're talking about Persian and Babylonian, we're in the area of the world today that would have the countries of Iran and Iraq. That's basically where some of the earliest civilizations came from. Writing kind of developed out of there, farming as well as in China. You know, these are some of the first places people really got their minds together and started to do new things and invent new things, including tunnel building. And what did they use them for back then? Well, basically kind of what we use them for today. But in that case, they were transporting water. Yeah, tunnels, roads, railways, boats, these are used to transport things. To transport is basically to move something from one place to another, often using a machine, a vehicle, something like that. You can transport yourself on your feet, but you would more likely do it on a horse, a bicycle, a car, a bus, a train, an airplane. All of these things transport people and things, just basically take them from one place to another. So it seems they built tunnels and they were not moving people or things, but water. So I guess bringing water from a lake or a river into a city area where, you know, a lot of people needed water. And they still do that. Those are often called aqueducts.
Yeah, so this was considered a huge accomplishment. I would say achievement, accomplishment. This is a noun we use when someone has worked very hard and has been successful at achieving something, getting something done. You might have some great achievements. Maybe you've really done well in school, or maybe you're an athlete and you've worked really hard. It takes a lot of practice and work to set goals and then achieve them or accomplish them. Well, this was a really great achievement for them. 3,000 years ago, just think about that, as it enabled or allowed or let civilizations build large cities in the middle of the desert. So, yeah, this gave them an ability to have large cities where there really wasn't a lot of water because they had these tunnels that could transport water more easily to the places where people were living.
That's right.
So, to enable means to do something that lets something happen. You might enable somebody to, make a good living. Maybe you're a boss. You enable them to make a good living by hiring them, giving them a job.
Absolutely.
So you make it possible for something to happen. Civilization is a word we use when we're talking about a group of people that share a language and culture, and you're talking about their whole social development. And what was considered advanced and not so advanced. So it enabled these civilizations, and I could say ancient civilizations, this was quite a while ago, guys, to build these large cities in the desert.
Right, so then jump forward maybe about 1,000 years to around 2,000 years ago, or a little bit more, and we get to the civilizations of the Greeks and the Romans. The Greeks kind of came a little bit earlier and the Romans followed, but their civilizations were very similar and they influenced each other. So Greeks and Romans picked up the old tunnel building idea. It says they later learned tunnel building techniques and improved upon them. Okay, to improve upon something is just to make something better. All right, if you're doing a school project and you're working with some of your classmates, it can be nice working with other people because they can help to improve upon your work. They'll, come up with new, fresh ideas, have a different way of doing it. But generally, if you make something better, you're improving upon it. You're making it nicer, better, stronger, richer, whatever, in some kind of way. And at the peak of its power, the Roman Empire used complex tunnels to transport water through mountains and built road tunnels through areas that were otherwise impossible to cross. So perhaps the Romans were the first to build road tunnels, but they also continued the ancient idea of using tunnels to carry water. And we have this word otherwise, all right? When we talk about something that is otherwise something, it's kind of talking about how it's an opposite or how something is needed to make another thing possible, right? We often use this when we're giving advice or a warning. It's raining. I'd take an umbrella. Otherwise, you might get wet. You notice it's similar to a phrase you guys might have heard, or else. Okay, so if we're saying if you do this or don't do this, something good or bad could happen. All right, you should study for your test early. Otherwise, you won't be ready when the exam time comes. All right, so we're kind of showing that, these things there's a relationship there.
We sure are, guys. This is probably a good time to take a quick break. We're going to listen to our Chinese teacher, and then we'll be back to continue talking about tunnels and tunnel building.
Hi, my name is Jenny. 今天我们要看的是第10单元。我们今天的文章主题跟科技有关，我们要谈世界最困难的工程之一。这个工程呢，跟 tunnel 有关。什么是 tunnel？ 当然指的是隧道。隧道工程知多少？我们先看开头这边说的，你穿过隧道的样子。所以先想象一下 ，Imagine taking a train ride。Imagine 是想象，这个动词呢，它比较注意的是后面，它基本上可以直接加受词。当然，这个受词呢，可是一个名词，或者是一个 that 子句。可是如果你是直接接一个动词的话，记得要把动词加上 ing。所以说，后面的这个 taking 加了 ing。好，先想象这一件事情，就是你呢，就坐着火车穿越乡村。这段的描述当然就是通过这个隧道之后，又看到了阳光，又看到了天际明亮的感觉。原来这就是穿过隧道的感觉。再来第二段呢，他提到说，那么所谓的 tunnels 隧道是拿来做什么的？记得这里有个片语 are used to， 要注意到发音，因为我们知道 used 在我们谈文法的时候，有时候会提醒大家说有一个片语叫 be used to， 那个 used to 如果是念无声子音的话，就表示习惯于。但是这个地方它是动词的被动，就是被用来，所以发音就变成了有声的子音，要念 used。are used to 好，是拿来做什么的？后面当然就是介绍它的功能，就是在你穿过山丘或山脉等这种障碍之下的通道。那提到人造的隧道 man-made ones， 我们先看到 man-made， 当然这个 man 指的其实就是人类，而 made 它是一个过去分词， 我们知道有一种形容词叫复合形容词。那复合形容词呢，如果说看到像这里 man 名词后面再加 pp， 就要想想为什么要用过去分词的 made。当然理由很简单，因为你在描述这个 tunnels， 它们是人造的，是被人所制造出来的。 So in other words， 换句话说， tunnels are made by man。 那么我们看到这里的 ones， 要知道这种叫做不定代名词哦。 one 指什么？当然要往前找前面提过的一个名词，这个名词指的就是 tunnel， 所以意思就是说这种人造的隧道。他提到一开始什么时候开始有的呢？大概要3000多年前， some 3000 years ago。 这个 some 也很重要，因为我们常把 some 加一个数字，其实意思就相当于说是大约。好，那我们继续往下读呢，下面就提到说，所谓的隧道可以拿来做什么？其实它可以把它盖在地底下，然后呢就可以来运水哦。然后呢，如果说是在现在城市里面，它在沙漠里面还可以盖城市，主要也就是运用了这种道理。所以隧道真的对我们现代文明来说实在是非常的重要。那后面呢，当然还提到希腊罗马时代，在罗马帝国他们权力最高峰的时候， at the peak of its power， 当时呢他们就用了复杂的隧道，然后把水运过了山脉。因为你知道吗，如果你用其他的方法是办不到的。我们注意到这个单字 otherwise， 我们知道 otherwise 它其实叫做否则，这是大家比较习惯的用法。但是不要忘记 otherwise 是一个副词，像这种转折副词呢，它不能够当做连接词，这是第一点。那第二点呢，在这个地方他说 were otherwise impossible， 这个表示的就是说不是这样的话，也就是说你用其他方法的话就不可能穿越。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We're talking about digging into tunnel building or learning more about tunnel building.We've actually taken you back into our history, our ancient history, actually. We're telling you here that tunnels are passages that used to go through or under barriers, like the hills and mountains that you still see around us. A barrier, of course, is something that stops your progress from something. You've got to find some way to get around that barrier or obstacle. Well, they came up with this idea a long time ago to make or build tunnels 3,000 years ago in the Middle East.They realized that tunnels could actually help them transport water, which was so very, very, very important in order for a group of people to survive, especially in this area of the world, which was quite hot. There wasn't a lot of rain, so you'd need to transport water to areas of desert. So this was a great accomplishment. It enabled or allowed these civilizations to build large cities.in the middle of deserts. And then we move ahead to the Greeks and Romans, and they learned the tunnel building techniques, how to do it, how to build them, and they made them even better. So if you improve upon something, you make something even better. And at the peak of their power, the Roman Empire used really complicated or complex tunnels to transport water through mountains, and they actually build road tunnels through areas that were otherwise impossible to cross.So if they hadn't had those tunnels, there's no way they could have gotten from one point to another point. So moving on to the third paragraph, nowadays, or in our current modern day, tunnels are most frequently used for transportation purposes. That's still true. They allow trains and cars to bypass obstacles. If you bypass something, guys, you go around it. It doesn't stop you.I know some people who have sick hearts, who have heart issues. Maybe they have a heart attack. Sometimes they have to have bypass surgery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the doctors go in and actually have to make a new pathway for the blood to flow. That's bypass surgery. So they allow cars and trains to bypass obstacles or these barriers we talked about. And this is the good stuff. It shortens travel times, and we love that. We talked about how it used to take a lot longer to drive from Taipei City to Yilan, and now it's much faster.
That's right. It once took me 6 hours to get back from Yilan on a Sunday night.
Oh, that's horrible.
But I think now it would be maybe an hour, a little bit more, even if there's a lot of traffic. So yeah, there you go. I think in Taiwan, a lot of anyone out there who's listening has probably been in a tunnel, either by train or car, as we mentioned, because there's so many mountains. However, as we continue on, it says, however, some tunnels are so impressive that they could be considered works of art. Really? A work of art as a tunnel. So this is a tunnel. It will be maybe a road tunnel or a rail tunnel carrying cars or trains. But they've kind of worked on it to make it even more special, to make it beautiful like a work of art, and certainly impressive as well. Something impressive, well, if you look at it or hear about it or whatever, you're just going to go, wow, that's pretty amazing. If it's impressive, it fills you with sort of respect. It fills you with maybe surprise. It fills you with a feeling of wonder, like, oh my gosh. You know, a lot of the people, if the first time you've ever been to a tall building, say Taipei 101, and you come out and you stand up and your neck bends back and further back and further back, and then you realize how tall the building is, how big it is as you stand right at the bottom of it. You feel like a tiny ant standing next to a very tall tree. That's really impressive. It's really amazing. It's incredible. It makes you go, wow.
Sure does. Hey, I wanted to mention something that sometimes gets some of our English learners a little confused. If you use impressive, guys, make sure you don't say, I'm impressive. That's like saying, I'm exciting instead of I'm excited. Be careful with those. You can say someone else is impressive if you think they have a lot of talent or they've done something really kind of cool. Wow, that's impressive. Or he's or she's quite impressive. And you can say this about yourself. I'm impressed. Wow, you've impressed me. We're going to be talking about a tunnel here that's considered to be quite lovely, quite beautiful. I haven't seen it myself, I must confess. So you might want to look this one up. Norway has a Lærdal tunnel, and it's the longest road tunnel in the world. So you can actually travel through it. Have you actually seen this one, Mike?
No, I went to Norway when I was a kid, but we took a train, so I don't remember this. But it does sound very impressive. Maybe not as a sort of impressive like a work of art, like a painting, but certainly impressive as something that people have built.
True.
Why? Because it's really, really long. Now, to say it's the longest road tunnel in the world gives us an idea, okay? This has set a record. It's probably longer than any tunnel I've ever been in, as long as I've never been to Norway. But how long is long? How long is the longest road tunnel? Well, let's read on. It stretches for 24.51 kilometers, or km. That's almost 25 kilometers, and takes cars about 20 minutes to travel through. Now, that is impressive. That is quite a distance. Imagine driving for, about good 20 minutes without seeing any light, without being outside. You're in the tunnel the entire time. That's amazing.
That is amazing. I remember one of the tunnels I experienced a lot growing up. We would just try to hold our breath as we went through the tunnel. That was kind of the big challenge.
I don't think you should try that in Norway.
I don't think it would work. No. Yeah. I can see why some drivers would start to fall asleep, though, because these tunnels, there's really nothing going on.
True.
So what they've tried to do to help the drivers, because nobody wants to have someone get into an accident, it's lit. They use these colorful lights that actually imitate daylight. If you imitate something, you copy it, So you feel less like you're in a tunnel and it's dark. There's another tunnel here called the Drogden Tunnel. It's also quite amazing. This one is not as long. It's 16 kilometers long.
Oh, it's just a baby.
Yeah. Hey, guys, when we use a number to describe something like a 4-pound baby, remember we take the S off on pounds, a 4-pound baby. That 4 pound turns into an adjective. This is the same thing. Don't say this 16 kilometers a tunnel. That's incorrect. It's like 16-kilometer tunnel.
Like a $20 bill.
True.
Right.
So this one actually connects the beautiful countries of Denmark in Sweden. My goal is still to go to Sweden someday. I hope I get there. But what's so cool about this? Well, thanks to clever or really bright, smart architecture and engineering, driving into the tunnel seems like you're entering another dimension.
Wow, almost like traveling into space or something from the sounds of that.
Star Trek movies, another dimension.
Huh.
I don't know why, so you might want to check that out. Maybe if you see some photos, some pictures of it, you'd understand why they're describing it this way. Like there's another dimension.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I definitely want to go now.
Yeah, don't you want to see it?
Why are you entering Sweden, sir? I want to go in your tunnels. And they'll say, get out of here, you crazy person.
Yeah, I guess an engineering student or graduate would be interested.
Yeah.
But it's one more thing you get to do if you visit this part of the world. Right now, guys, we're going to listen one more time to our Chinese teacher, and then we'll be back to sign off.
那我们谈到现在盖隧道最常用在运输方面，所以呢，可以让火车、让汽车可以不受阻碍，然后缩短它的行程。那这边就提到了几个可能大家有旅游知道的世界上最长的公路隧道，在挪威，或者是说在其他的地方有连接丹麦跟瑞典的这长达16公里长的这个隧道。这些都是在令人惊奇的建筑界跟工程界他们所制造出来的奇迹。那我们就要谈一个字 architecture。 我们知道 architecture 这个名词当然代表的就是建筑，而这篇文章里面它在前面也用到了所谓的建筑师 architect 这两个字，我们如果连在一起看，要记得 architect 是指人，Architecture 是指建筑，这是一个名词的使用方法。好，我们今天讲解就到这边结束，我们下次见。
That's it, guys. That's day 1 of our technology unit. We're not finished talking about this tunnel building and the techniques that are used. We've got some more cool tunnels to talk about. The Channel Tunnel is really cool. We'll be talking about that in our next program.We hope you'll join us then. For English Digest, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Mike.
Bye.
Bye-bye.